Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning into my page today. Once again, I'm doing an interview with another business owner, as I usually do every week. If you're following my page, you'll know that. And today, my special guest is Stephanie, and she is all the way from Victoria, BC in Canada. And I am going to ask Stephanie if she wouldn't mind to tell us a little bit more about yourself, what it is you do, and a little bit more what makes you tick.
Yeah, of course. Excuse me. Well, like you, Kim, I'm actually a fellow East Coaster. Was born and raised in Nova Scotia, actually.
Cool.
Lived there until I was 23, I think. And then I moved to Alberta and then moved to Victoria. And I've been a flight attendant for about 10, well, it's just over 10 years now. And I'm all over the place. I've moved. My boyfriend and I, we moved out together, and we love to travel and we love moving. We've actually moved 13 times in the last 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, that's a bit about who I am. Yeah. I love to travel, love being outdoors, love exploring. I get bored easily, I guess you could say.
So you're obviously very busy with flying and traveling and moving.
Yes.
Why on earth would you start a digital business?
Why did I start? Well, I guess it was 2 years ago, actually. Now, holy, I was actually, I know, holy cow. So I actually was furloughed or laid off from my flight attendant business. And that's kind of when I started looking for something else.
Right.
And I was introduced to this business through actually another flight attendant. And what brought me to it was just exactly that, the flexibility. Like, we're always on the go, we're always moving, we're always traveling. We never stay home, even on our days off. So I wanted something that I could build into a successful business that I could take wherever I was, and, wasn't stressed out about having to be in one place, in an office, and, you have to be here at this certain day at this certain time. And so I was introduced to this, like I said, through another flight attendant, and she actually left her career of 17 years to do this digital business full time. And so that's how I went with the digital business, just because, like I said, I get bored easily. So this is keeping me going.
Oh, that's awesome. It really does cater to those who want the flexibility and want a business that's portable and on the go. So I love that part of it. I love not having to go to the office every day and to commute every day. It's awesome. You schedule work around life, which is how it should be.
Yep. So, 100%.
So cool. So with so many things on the internet today, when you came across this business of working online, how did you know it was real?
A few different ways, actually. So, like everything, I went in with I shouldn't say everything, but many other business opportunities that I've been introduced to, I've gone in with a whole lot of skepticism. And a lot of those other businesses were actually brought forward to me by family members as well. And something about them didn't quite click with me.
Okay.
So when I was introduced to this one, or when I was actually scrolling through my news feed and came across her post, and I chatted with her, she was introduced me to it. It was through her, but also through other pilots and flight attendants who work with my own company, right, my own airline, and other airlines that I was actually able to meet and chat with, and got a real feel for real life people and people who I connected with. And I don't know, I just had good vibes about this. And then when I went through the webinar and got introduced into the main Facebook group, where I got to see other people all across the world and hear their stories and watch interviews just like this, I was like, man, this is the real deal. Like, in other businesses, you meet one person, right? And you hear stories, but you never actually get to meet people, and people answer all your questions. And so that's, I would say, how I knew it was real, was just meeting people like yourself, Kim, who are so genuine and down to earth, and, really go above and beyond to answer any questions, or any try and fix any skepticism, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's what brought me in, was the people that are in this community, the people that are doing this business. They're, I guess you could say, raw, if that makes sense. They're just,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
and yeah, and I think too, for a lot of people, it is the people component of this. We
yeah,
are all real people, and at any given time, you can pick up the phone or message someone. You can do a Zoom call with any one of them,
yeah,
and talk to them. They're real people, and they are genuine. They are
yes,
authentic,
yeah,
and their stories are as varied as there are professions around the world. You
yeah,
know, we've got business owners in every single profession. Some are
yeah,
job quitters, and others like yourself do it on the side. I do it full time,
mhm,
but I have done it while I worked a full-time job. So it's just, it goes back to the flexibility,
yeah,
and the people that are doing it. It's real people.
yeah,
Everybody's showing their face. They're not hiding behind cartoon faces,
yeah,
and using their real names. So yeah, that's what got me too. I think it
yeah,
is legitimate.
yeah. And I mean, the thing I found as well too, where it wasn't, I don't want to say, not that it was sugar coated, but everyone was real and saying, you're not going to get rich quick. That's
That's
the whole
right.
thing about it. They were very blunt. You have to put the work into it, but when you do, you see the results, right? So, they didn't try and, you know like I said, sugarcoated to make everybody want to jump in thinking it was going to be super, super easy.
That's
But
right.
they were raw. They answered everyone's questions. They said, I had struggles with it, but there were all struggles that I overcame, and nothing crazy, but just like, I never even had Facebook when I
When you
first went into it.
start.
Yeah, like, I had only been fresh into Facebook a month, and I only got Facebook so that I could stay connected with my flight attendants that I, was friends with. So
Right.
for me, that was one of the things that I found difficult, was just technology and learning. And so, there are those little bit of struggles for everybody, because we're all
That's right.
human, right? But and everyone's open about that too, so we can learn from each other. And so that I found really nice in this business as well. Everyone was honest, I guess. So
Yes, and the fact that nobody is trying to twist your arm and say, "Come
yeah,
on, you got to try this." Nobody
yeah,
ever did that,
yeah,
and they said, it's not for everybody. It
yeah,
may be for you, it may not, and it's okay
yeah,
either way.
yeah,
And I think, well, that was different. Like
yeah,
usually, that's not the line that you hear. So
yeah,
yeah, it was. That's some of the things that really drew me into.
yeah.
So you've been doing this now almost 2 years. So what would you say in that length of time would be the biggest lesson that you've learned from being a digital business owner?
Oh, this is a tough one. There's so many things. I would say the main point, business wise, was even doing this part time with my full time job, is just staying plugged in and staying focused. My first year in, so after my first few months, I did fall off the bandwagon for a while. My biggest fault was that I set this aside, and they always say don't treat it like a hobby, and that's unfortunately what I had been doing for a few months. And once it was actually my boyfriend who kicked my butt into gear and said, hey, you were so excited about this, you really wanted to do it, and then, like, what are you doing with it? You're just sitting around expecting to get results, but you're not putting the time into it, sort of
That's
thing.
right.
So I would say the biggest lesson I learned is to stay plugged in. And when I say putting the time in, I'm not meaning, you're putting 40, 50, 60 hours a
No,
week into this. It's nothing like that. It's, staying plugged in, checking in on a daily basis with your emails, and every Wednesday night watching the masterminds, and
that's right.
just staying plugged in that way, and being involved in the community and helping out and answering questions. And if your mentees or anyone needs questions, being there for them. So it's, again, not a full-time, like I said, 40, 50, 60 hours, but just
No,
focusing in on it. Right. And like I said, I unfortunately didn't do that for a bit of my first year. And I don't want to say that I'm kicking myself for it, but yes, I'm kicking myself for it, because I just wasted, how
right.
many months that I could have been working very hard on getting my business established, and I would probably be a little bit further along than what I am. But that's again a huge lesson that I learned,
Exactly.
was
Yeah.
being involved and treating it actually like a real business, and that's where I am now. So that's my biggest lesson. What would you say, Kim, for you?
Um, My biggest lesson for me, I think, would be making the shift from being an employee to a business owner, like that shift. And it goes back to what you're saying. If you put it aside, there's nobody breathing down your neck to say, you have to do this. You have deadlines. There is no deadline. There is nobody that's going to be, over your shoulder to say, you got to do this. So making the shift from and taking ownership of it, like this is mine. If I don't do this, then it's not going to get done, and it's not going to be successful. So like you said, that switch in mindset from the employee to the business owner was a big thing for me. And I think staying plugged in was a big part of that. In the beginning, I didn't do the masterminds regularly. I didn't attend the Wednesday night ones very often. But in the past, I would say 2 years, I've not missed one. So the first 6 months, it was, should I? It was not even should I. It just never occurred to me that I should, because I was not in that mindset, that place where this is my business. If I'm not connected to this, I could learn something. And I gotta say, with every single Wednesday night mastermind, there's not been one where there's not at least something that I can pull away from it. So it's always a learning curve, no matter what it is. So it's not one lesson, it's just every day is you learn something new. And I love that part. I'm a lifelong learner. I love to learn. I love new things. And I guess for me, it was really taking ownership and making the switch to, this is my baby and I got to make it work. And I will. So that's for me, I think, the biggest piece. So good job. So I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So any last minute words of advice that you would give to somebody that is, maybe watching this page today, they've seen the webinar and they said, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I can trust this. Can I do it? Can I not? What would you say to them today?
Yes, for sure. Well, again, it is a very, very big decision, and the only person that can make that decision is ultimately yourself. Sure. So yeah, do your due diligence. You said, like, if you already watched the webinar, if you have questions, reach out to Kim. That's what she's here for, right? She's trying to make this as smooth a process as possible. And I know sometimes, I was a bit shy after I watched it, coming in, asking questions and that sort of thing. But again, that's what we are all here for, and so if you have questions, ask them, and then dig down deep as well. What drew you to Kim's page? What drew you to watch the webinar? And I believe if your why is strong enough, you'll make it happen. What brought you here? Are you looking for a change? Are you wanting just a little extra side hustle? Are you wanting to, retire early or put your kids through school? Like, why did you look into this digital business to begin with? And if you really, really want it, I think you can make it happen. So yeah, just only you can make the choice, but I believe anyone can do it if they have the time, the dedication, and the drive to make it happen. So
absolutely. Wise words of advice, Stephanie. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Well, folks, that's it for today. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for being my special guest today. I really appreciate your time. And I pray many blessings on your business as you go forward, that you will be successful, follow you, and multiply. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. It was awesome. Yay. I love following you, and see you're hilarious. So
thank you. All right, folks, that's it for today. Take care and tune in next week to see where I'll be next week, what part of the globe. Bye-bye for now.